When the Galactic Union first detected the broken distress signal drifting from the far edge of the Perseus Rim, no one expected it to become the most feared moment in modern interstellar history. The transmission was weak, fragmented, almost dissolved by cosmic radiation, yet something about it felt disturbingly intentional, like a whisper traveling across the void despite every obstacle placed in its path. Engineers enhanced the signal, amplifying distorted fragments, until the screen slowly revealed a horrifying sight. A research outpost torn open from within, its metal corridors scorched as if ripped apart by invisible claws. No bodies, no survivors, not even the comforting familiarity of a normal destruction pattern. Instead, the halls echoed with a hollow silence, a cold stillness that made even the oldest species shudder. The analysis team replayed the footage dozens of times, freezing every flicker of light, tracing every scorch mark, and then they realized the truth. These were not marks left by explosives. They were left by a weapon outlawed across the galaxy for thousands of years, a soul disruptor, a device designed not to kill the body, but to annihilate consciousness, a weapon so forbidden that even the mention of it required special permissions, a weapon capable of erasing identity, memory, emotion, everything that made a being alive. Entire star empires had been wiped out for even researching such technology. And now someone had used it boldly, without fear, without attempting to hide it. At first, the Council suspected the Vorn Hive, the only species ruthless enough to commit such a violation. But the energy signature did not match. Then they suspected rogue mercenaries, but mercenaries lacked the resources. After days of frantic investigation, the truth emerged with a weight that cracked the illusion of security the galaxy had built around itself. The Soul Disruptor had been activated by humans. Not their government, not their military, but a small, unsanctioned rescue team operating outside all known jurisdictions. They had not used it to conquer, nor for political leverage. They had used it for something far more primal, something far more terrifying. The missing personnel in the outpost weren't random scientists. They were abducted human children, kidnapped by a species who believed humans were too emotionally fragile, too bureaucratically slow, too morally restrained to retaliate with real force. The kidnappers were an elite cabal of alien nobles who trafficked in suffering, running illegal experiments on the neurological responses of young species. They studied fear, pain, trauma, turning it all into entertainment data for wealthy subscribers. Humans, with their rich emotional spectrum, were considered premium content. They thought no one would ever discover the truth. They had done it before. They thought humans would mourn, file complaints, hold candlelight vigils, and then move on. But this time, they picked the wrong children. When the recording surfaced, images of scared children strapped to glowing examination tables, their memories forcefully extracted, the humans changed, not gradually, instantly. Something ancient awakened. Something embedded in their evolution as a species that survived predators, famine, war, and extinction-level catastrophes. Humans did not rage. They did not launch public threats. They did not hold grand declarations. They simply decided. And when humans decide, the universe takes a step back. The rescue team traced the teleport signature across multiple star systems, following faint fragments of quantum residue until they located the hidden moon where the children were held. They studied the surveillance patterns, bypassed security fields, and infiltrated the fortress with absolute silence. Not one alarm was triggered. Not one guard survived long enough to scream. Their armor was unmarked, matte black, without insignias. They weren't representing Earth. They weren't representing their species. They were representing the primal truth of parenthood, the uncompromising, ungoverned, unstoppable force that arises when a child is harmed. What they witnessed inside the fortress changed them forever. The children were scared, starved, trembling. Some whispered apologies, thinking they had done something wrong. The rescuers knelt, wiped their tears, carried every child gently, like holding the universe's most fragile secret. Then they turned to the captors. There was no trial, no negotiation, no mercy. Humans did not come to debate morals. They came to deliver consequences. And when they discovered the soul disruptor weapon, sealed in a vault and believed to be unusable, the rescuers didn't hesitate to activate it manually. To the Union, this was a violation of cosmic law. To the humans, it was justice delivered with perfect clarity. When the Council demanded answers, humans transmitted only one sentence across every known communication channel. If you harm one of ours again, we won't break the code, we'll replace it. Every species in the galaxy felt that transmission like a cold blade pressed against their throats, because humans weren't threatening war. Humans were threatening something much worse. Intervention without permission, retribution without hesitation, justice without delay. And every species realized that humanity's greatest danger wasn't their armies or their weapons. It was their empathy, turned into a spear. Humanity hadn't broken the galactic code. Humanity proved the code was too weak.
The council chamber was silent in a way that felt unnatural, as if the air itself feared making a sound. Representatives of 100 species sat motionless, their eyes fixed on the recording that had been played over and over again for the last 7 hours. They watched it with trembling limbs, widened eyes, and hearts that felt too small for their chests. The recording showed the aftermath of the human rescue operation. The fortress in ruins, its stone melted into rivers of black glass, its towers collapsed like brittle bones. In the center of the crater, surrounded by smoldering debris, the soul disruptor pulsed weakly like a dying heartbeat. The device had been outlawed for over 5 millennia, sealed away behind countless treaties, warnings, and legends that kept lesser species from even whispering about it. And humanity, a young civilization barely a few centuries into interstellar age, not only found one, they used it with perfect precision. No collateral victims, no wide-range destruction, no reckless detonation. Humans targeted only those responsible. They used the forbidden weapon not in cruelty, but in something far worse, in certainty. That certainty terrified the galaxy. The council elders stood, her long limbs shaking. Humans must be punished, she declared. If they do this once, they may do it again. But her voice carried no confidence, only fear disguised as authority. Another representative, scaled, tall, and ancient, rose and slammed his fist into the table. Punish them, he hissed. You want to punish a species that willingly broke into a fortress protected by 6 armies, disabled every defense within minutes, and walked out without a single casualty? Murmurs spread around the chamber. The elder opened her mouth to speak again, but another representative cut her off. If humans wanted war, they would have declared it already. Silence fell again, weighted heavier this time. Every species in the chamber had heard the same whispers circulating through their civilian channels. Human colonies had not gone into defensive lockdown after the incident. Their fleets did not prepare for retaliation. Their leaders did not make public speeches. Life for humanity continued as normal, as though wiping out an illegal experiment ring protected by powerful elites was simply routine. That is what frightened the galaxy more than anything. Humans acted with the calm certainty of a species that didn't need permission to do the right thing.
a species that did not care for old political structures or untouchable aristocracies, a species that believed justice was not a privilege, but a duty. Far from the council chamber, aboard the survivors' transport vessel Solace Runner, the children slept under warm blankets, unaware of the political storm their suffering had unleashed. Doctors scanned them for neurological damage caused by forced memory extraction. Some children cried in their sleep, whimpering through half-remembered nightmares. Others clung tightly to their rescuers, refusing to let go even as they drifted into exhausted slumber. One child, a little girl no older than 7, lifted her hand to trace the insignia on a medic's uniform and whispered, "You really came. You really came for us." Her voice broke into sobs, soft, fragile, the kind that punctures the strongest hearts. The medic knelt, wrapping her in a gentle embrace. "We will always come," he said quietly. "No matter where, no matter who took you, no matter what it takes, we will always come." Those words, spoken softly in the quiet of a ship's infirmary, reverberated across space like a sacred vow. The rescuers were not celebrated heroes. They refused interviews, declined public praise, and returned to their families without ceremony. Their mission had taken something from them, a weight they didn't want medals for. They had witnessed horrors no one should see. They had acted outside every law, and they would do it again without hesitation. For them, morality wasn't written in treaties or enforced by alliances. Morality was simple: protect the innocent, honor the dead, end the ones who break the sacred balance. That was humanity's code long before the galaxy ever created one. But the galaxy did not understand humanity, not truly. They saw humans as emotional, chaotic, unpredictable. They saw their empathy as weakness, their grief as a liability, their passion as volatility. They misunderstood the truth. Humans weaponized emotion. It fueled them. Grief made them courageous. Love made them unstoppable. Rage made them relentless. Hope made them impossible to defeat. When humans bonded with each other, entire stars could collapse, and they would still move forward together, refusing to surrender even at the edge of oblivion. The Council had always tried to confine humanity within laws designed by species that feared chaos above all else. But humanity wasn't chaotic. Humanity was alive. As the Council argued, humanity prepared, not for war, but for consequences. Not out of fear, but responsibility. The United Earth Fleet maintained peaceful formation, engines warm but weapons cold. Their diplomats sent messages requesting dialogue. Their scientists shared scans proving their operation targeted only criminals. Their leaders extended open invitations for negotiations. Humanity did everything by the book, except the moment justice became necessary. They did not regret that moment, not even slightly. The Council's panic grew when 3 powerful empires suggested declaring humanity a Level 5 threat. It was the status given to species capable of destabilizing entire civilizations. But before the Council could vote, a new message arrived, one that shattered the debate entirely. It came not from Earth, not from human military, but from the species responsible for the kidnappings. Their ruling families released a statement dripping with arrogance. Humans' retaliation proves their barbarism. They are unstable. Their emotions make them dangerous. We demand galactic protection from this savage species. Every ambassador in the chamber felt their blood run cold. Protection? From humans? The ones whose children had been tortured? Whose only response was to save them? That is when everyone understood the truth. The kidnappers thought humanity was weak because humans cared deeply. They thought care meant inaction. They thought compassion meant submission. They thought empathy meant obedience. They misunderstood. They had mistaken kindness for weakness. Humanity gave them the real definition. On Earth, public broadcasts replayed the children reuniting with their families. Mothers fell to their knees, sobbing when their children ran into their arms.
Fathers who swore they never cried felt tears soak their uniforms. Siblings embraced with trembling limbs. Streets erupted in applause not for the rescuers, but for the children who survived. Humanity didn't celebrate victory, they celebrated healing. That difference shook the galaxy even more, because humans weren't proud of destroying the fortress. They weren't boasting about breaking the galactic code. They weren't glorifying violence. They were grieving children they couldn't save. They were comforting the ones they rescued. They were holding memorials. They were rebuilding families. Humanity wasn't a barbaric species. Humanity was a devoted species. The Council called for an emergency summit with humanity. Representatives expected aggression, ultimatums, or righteous fury. Instead, the human ambassador walked into the chamber with tired eyes and a voice heavy with sorrow. "We didn't break your code," she said quietly. "Your code broke when it failed to protect our children." Her words echoed across the chamber like a slow-burning fire. She did not raise her voice. She didn't need to. If your laws cannot defend the innocent, then they are not laws. They are excuses. Not a single ambassador dared to interrupt. "Humanity is not your enemy," she said softly. "But if you believe our love for our children makes us dangerous, then you have never understood what true peace looks like." She leaned forward, placing her hands on the table. "We don't want power. We don't want war. We don't want control. We want every species to feel safe, especially their young. If you cannot guarantee that, then we will." The chamber trembled with the weight of those words, and for the first time in recorded history, the Galactic Council rewrote its laws because of one species. Not because humanity threatened them, not because humanity forced them, but because humanity reminded them what they had forgotten. That no law is greater than the life of a child. That no treaty outweighs the protection of the innocent. That no code stands above compassion. The new ruling was declared across the stars. Any act of harm against children of any species will be considered an attack on all species. Punishment will be unified, immediate, and absolute. It was the greatest reform in 10,000 years, triggered not by war, but by the fury of a wounded species whose hearts burned brighter than any star. The galaxy learned a lesson they would never forget. Humanity never asked for permission to love. They never needed approval to protect.
Their empathy wasn't weakness. It was the oldest weapon of their evolution. And when someone broke something sacred, humans didn't break the code. Humans rewrote it.